Huling misa ng ating Simbang Gabi. This is our ninth misa Tagalog, Simbang Gabi. Yung ating Ebanghelyo, mga kapatid, ay isa sa mga pinakapopular na mga Ebanghelyo na ginagamit para sa Simbang Gabi, sa Adviento, at sa Pasko. Commonly, this is known as the Benedictus of Zechariah or the Canticle of Zechariah. Ang ibig sabihin po niyan, mga kapatid, yung Benedictus ay the praise and worship of Zechariah of God. Let's get to the main point. There are 2 points of the Benedictus. Merong dalawang bahagi. Kung titingnan natin, medyo mahaba-haba yung Ebanghelyo, pero it can be the idea of prayer can be summarized into 2 parts. The first part is that Zechariah, sa Zacarias po, kanya pong pinasalamatan. He was trying to appreciate, he was trying to call to mind the overall plan of God's salvation. In the English translation, very beautiful. Blessed be the Lord, the God of Israel, for He has visited His people and set them free. Yung panunuluyan na ginawa ng ating mga kabataan, napakaganda po mga kapatid. Because it is a contemporary take of how our own concerns has not been able to make us free and make us open so that God's plan becomes real or is realized in our midst. If in the first case, the multiplication of technology which is supposed to bridge the gap of communication has become the reason why people shut off the presence of God. So beautiful. Palakpakan natin yung mga kapatid. Ito po mga kapatid. Ang Zechariah, sa Zacarias po sa ating Ebanghelyo ngayon, kanyang ipinaalam sa atin that every time we open our hearts, every time we are more merciful, every time we are more tolerant and compassionate, we become the sacrament of God's covenant. Sinasabi ni Zacarias, blessed be the Lord God of Israel, who has remembered His holy covenant. Ano po itong covenant, mga kapatid? Ang covenant na ito ay sinasabi ng Diyos na siya yung ating Diyos at tayo ang kanyang sangkatauhan. We are all brothers and sisters. This is the overall plan. And God visits His people through Jesus Christ in order for us to be able to reach out to God and to be able to reach out to each other. Kaya po, kapag mayroon tayong nakitang kabutihan, yan po mga kapatid is a sacrament of God's overall plan of salvation taking shape before our eyes. Kaya po, ang nakaraang siyang na araw, there's so much goodness, there's so much goodwill among us in our Simbang Gabi, in our preparation. Alam ko na some of you would drive 30, 40 minutes just to be with us in our Simbang Gabi. Such a show of goodwill is a sacrament of how this eternal plan of salvation is taking shape before our eyes. Kaya po pag sinasabi natin, parang walang nangyayari, hindi po yung totoo mga kapatid. Because the fact that we are here, andyan si Father Rodel, andyan si Father Miloy, andito yung ating mga kabataan, choir, senior citizen, tayong lahat. Ay yung ating mga mature, no? So, there's so much show of goodwill in the past 9 days, and hopefully, this is, parang ito yung sinasabi God's goodwill, His eternal plan of salvation is taking place before our eyes. Kaya po, sayang sinasabi ni Father Randy, makalimutan natin ito afterwards na we are all happy, one big happy family in Simbang Gabi, and then afterwards, we forget all about this experience. This is God's plan taking place before our eyes. Such recognition of goodness. So napakaganda po mga kapatid. At sa tingin ko, mayroon tayong inumpisahan that something so beautiful and we should never ever let it go. We should take time to appreciate each effort, each song, each presence. Kahit yung mga nakatayo, sorry, wala kami uupuan. Siguro gagawa naman sa mga simbahan sa Father Randy to contain us later. Noong ako kayo naninigay sa ating pagkilo, I remember the story about 3 sons and a mother. Yung pong nanay, napakasipag po, maaga siya naging widow, pero napakasipag yung nanay. So, she raised these 3 good sons into becoming good men, into becoming good citizens, good Christians. So, on the 85th birthday of their mom, the 3 sons decided to show their appreciation for every goodness that the mother has done for them. Sabi ng unang anak, ako naging successful real estate developer. So gagawin ko ng mansyon ng aking nanay. No? 12 ang kwarto. Mayroong lugar para sa kabataan, sa mga mature, sa choir, lectors, ushers, and the hall. Tapos yung pangalawa, sabi niya, I become a very successful owner of a chain of car dealership. So I will give our mom a Bentley. Sosyal. Na uubo lang yung nanay, bukas na yung talagang kaya. Yung pangatlong anak, si Tom, sabi ni Tom, yung aking ibibigay ng sa ating, alam ko na ang ating nanay ay aktibo sa Immaculate Heart of Mary Parish. At alam ko na ang gusto ng ating nanay ay yung bibigay sa ng ating nanay. Bibigyan ko siya ng isang loro. Ano yung loro? Araw. No? At itong loro na ito ay magaling dahil i-hire ko si Father Pinoy para turuan ng lahat ng verses ng Biblia. Kaya sasabihin ng nanay ko, John 3:16, sasagot yung loro, for God so loved the world that He gave His only Son, etc. Sasabihin ko lang, Psalm 21, yan, magsasalita. Psalm 23, Psalm 139, so yun, nangyari, birthday. Binigay yung tatlong gift. After 2 weeks, may sulat na tanggap yung tatlong anak. Ang unang sulat ko sa real estate developer, sabi niya, alam, I really appreciate what you gave to me. That mansion is so nice. But alam niyo, ako ay 85 years old na, wala na akong energy to clean the 12 rooms. So maraming salamat, I really appreciate it. Pero kung pwede, doon na lang ako sa apartment ko, but I really appreciate what you did for me. Sa pangalawang anak, tanggapin siya ng letter. Sabi ng nanay, ang ganda po ng inyong sasakyan ay binibigay. Pero madalas na akong hikain. Ako palagi akong inuupo kahit midnight, bumukas bigla yung sasakyan. So, nai-store yung tulog ko. Doon na lang ako sa aking Kia Picanto. Sa pangatlong anak ay Tom, sabi niya, oh, my dear Bunso, my dear Tom, you really know what your mother wants. Talagang, I really appreciate the loro that you gave to me. So, kagabi, with my friends, niluto ko inadoro ang minsan-minsan yung appreciation ng it was so delicious. Sayang ang effort ni Father Randy Odchigue. Minsan-minsan, no? When we try to appreciate, when we try to do efforts of goodness, some people mistake it for another thing. Yung exercise, yung for example, si San Juan Bautista, he was trying to do good, but he was not appreciated. Tayo, there's such show of goodwill, and sometimes the show of goodwill is not appreciated. Sometimes we become critical of others. Sometimes we mistake the show of goodwill as something else that's not disinterested. I think ang hamon po sa ating mga kapatid, when we see the overall plan of God's salvation as shown in the little goodnesses that we encounter every day, is to take it at its face value. When somebody does something good this Christmas, huwag mo na sabihin, ay naku, nababay-bait naman yan. Wow! Just say thank you. When somebody appreciates what you did, you're singing with your choir, you're reading, and your efforts in the church, just say thank you. Do not say, ay naku, isang dami na porkan plastic. Porkan, di ba karami ang plastic? Pero yung social. Yung we try to take the goodnesses that we encounter today as part of the realization of God's plan for us. Final point, kasi alas 6 na. Final point. Yung second part ng ating Ebanghelyo, yung canticle or Benedictus Observatory, is the specific role that John the Baptist will play. And you, my child, shall be called the prophet of the Most High. For you will go before the Lord to prepare His way, to give His people knowledge of salvation, the forgiveness of their sins, and to guide their feet into the way of peace. Tayo po mga kapatid, we all have roles to play in the church. Meron tayong specific na hamon na ating pwedeng ibigay sa simbahan. Kaya the second challenge is not just to recognize the goodnesses around us, but to see ourselves as part of His overall grand design and ask ourselves, saan kaya ang pwede mag-contribute? Ano kaya ang pwede kong gawin so that God's grand design of love becoming real, of forgiveness becoming palpable, of hope walking among us. Saan kaya pwede tumulong? Kung hindi masyadong maganda yung boses ko, doon na lang ako muna sa kusina. Kung maganda yung boses ko, pwede kong magpasta. Or kung wala akong talent, wala akong talent, tagabahin ka na lang. But you have a role to play. Your presence counts. Kaya pwede sabihin, hindi na lang ako magsimba because it makes no difference. No. I tell you right now, your face adds beauty into this place. Your life story that you bring and you share with us during our meals, it makes difference to us. It makes difference to every parishioner that you encounter. Kayo po mga kapatid, ngayong Pasko, we share our stories, we share our presence, we share our lives. As PCP tells us, nobody is so rich that he or she can't receive anything. But nobody is so poor and deprived that he can she or he or she cannot share something. Amen.